Captain Vorna Talix reclined slightly in his command chair aboard the Galactic Council reconnaissance fleet's flagship, 3 of his 4 arms folded across his plated chest. The 4th tapped a cluster of coordinates into the neural interface embedded in his armrest. "So," he drawled, his cerulean scales tinged with an irritated hue of violet, "remind me again why we're wasting resources on this unremarkable solar system." Across the bridge, Lieutenant Crix shifted uncomfortably, her sensory frills twitching in anxiety. "It's the 3rd planet, sir. The natives call it Earth, and the species is called humans." "Humans," Vorna scoffed, rolling the unfamiliar word around like sour fruit. "Bipeds who haven't even cracked faster than light travel. There are 17 other pre-FTL civilizations worth our attention." "Yes, sir," Crix replied, lowering her voice, "but High Command believes they might be." "Closer than expected." That made Vorna pause. "Closer? That's absurd. Our last intel said they were at least 6 decades from breaching the Torlin barrier." "New data indicates unexpected advancements," Crix said carefully. Before Vorna could respond, the ship's AI interrupted in its emotionless voice. "Unidentified object approaching. Classification unknown. Distance 1 million kilometers and closing rapidly." Vorna sat up straighter, his scales pulsing an urgent shade of alarm red. "Main screen." Now. The screen flickered to life, revealing a sleek, elegant vessel unlike anything in the Council's archives. It was clearly artificial, streamlined, metallic, and artistic. Long golden panels extended like wings, glowing faintly with a pulsing blue energy. "Probably an automated probe," Vorna muttered, eyes narrowing. "Sir," Crix said again, her tone now edged with something unsteady. "It's broadcasting everything. Visual packets, audio, math sequences, over 400 languages." A voice chimed through the comms, cheerful, unthreatening, but confident. "Greetings from Earth. If you're hearing this, we finally figured out how to say hello properly." Crix's frills twitched in disbelief. "We've been watching your ships for decades, got tired of waiting for you to introduce yourselves, so we came to say hi." Vorna's jaw dropped. "They've been watching us?" "Don't worry. This vessel is harmless. Well, mostly. Try to capture or tamper with it, and you'll see a few surprises. Not lethal, just educational. We look forward to formal contact on equal terms." The message cut out, replaced by sound. Dissonant horns, syncopated rhythms, a musical chaos that made Vorna wince. "Turn that off," he barked. Silence returned, but the tension remained. "Standard first contact protocol, sir?" Crix offered. "No," Vorna said sharply. "Something's wrong. Scan that probe. Thoroughly. I want to know what surprises they packed." Crix began scanning, fingers flying. Sir? This can't be right." Vorna turned to her. "What?" "The energy signature. There's nothing in our database like it. I don't even know what's powering this thing." "Are you saying these primitives developed new physics?" "Not just propulsion. The entire vessel is alien to us." The bridge lights flickered. Then alarms screamed. "The probe is moving," shouted Let. "Nigndruk from tactical. Intercept course. Evasive maneuvers. Raise shields." The massive ship began pivoting, but the Earth probe matched its every move with alarming grace. "It's scanning us," Crix said, her voice shrill. "Our countermeasures are useless." "Fire warning shots," Vorna snapped. "Standard protocol. Barely miss it." Twin energy pulses lanced across the void, universal sign to back off. The probe didn't flinch. Instead, a calm voice replied, "We noticed you fired energy weapons. We're interpreting that as a cultural greeting. If it wasn't friendly, well, our defense capabilities exceed appearances. Let's keep this nice, yes?" Suddenly, a pulse of energy blanked every system on the bridge. For one terrifying second, the entire vessel went dark. Then, everything came back online. A new voice now echoed within the crew's neural comms. That was just a diagnostic. Cataloging your tech levels. Don't worry, we didn't take control. We could, but that would be rude. Vorna's scales turned pale, an instinctive signal of fear in his species. Contact High Command, now. Crix opened her mouth, but the human voice interrupted again. External communications are temporarily paused, just for a few minutes. First impressions, after all. The probe drifted into view outside the viewport, serene, golden, brilliant. Then it projected a 3D hologram into the center of the bridge. A human avatar smiled brightly. "Hello, Captain Vorna Talix of the Galactic Council Reconnaissance Fleet," it said with uncanny accuracy. "I'm Dr. Alexander Kelly, Earth Diplomatic Corps." How do you know that name?" Vorna breathed. "We cracked your encryption years ago. Nothing personal, just due diligence." Vorna's mind reeled. "We know about the Council, about your protocols, your secret vote 52 years ago to quarantine Earth because of our temperament. Thanks for voting against that, by the way." Crix whispered. "That's classified at the highest level. How?" "Here's the thing," Dr. Kelly continued. "We've waited. We endured your Mars outposts, your abductions, even your memory wipes. But enough. We're not coming as supplicants or junior partners." The smile sharpened ever so slightly. "We're coming as equals." Vorna finally found his voice. "You can't just declare yourselves ready. There are procedures." "Captain," Kelly replied, his voice still pleasant, "we're not asking for permission. We're delivering a courtesy notice. In 30 Earth days, our diplomatic fleet arrives at Nexus Prime." Vorna's throat went dry. "Nexus Prime is 2,000 light-years away." "Yes," Kelly said softly. "We'll be there. Don't worry about how." The hologram flickered, then steadied. "This probe will wait 24 hours. It contains files on our culture, tech, some of it. Oh, and records of everything you've done to us over the past century. Consider that our icebreaker." Kelly's tone shifted one last time. "We're willing to move forward, but if you or the Council think of stopping us, don't." And then he was gone. The silence that followed was absolute. Crix finally whispered, "What now?" Vorna exhaled, voice grave. "We do what they expect. We scan the probe, report to High Command, and we prepare." Druk asked, "Are they really that dangerous, sir?" They seemed polite. Vorna's scales shifted to a deep contemplative blue. "In 300 cycles of service, I've learned something. It's not the ones who threaten you openly that you should fear. It's the ones who smile while showing you how easily they could destroy you." He turned to the screen where the golden probe waited patiently, and humanity just smiled. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, usually a place of measured debate and dignified calm, was now a hive of agitation. Representatives from across 27 galaxies surged through the luminous halls of Nexus Prime, their appendages, fronds, tentacles, and limbs gripping data pads, shouting orders, or trading panicked bursts of telepathic chatter. At the center of it all stood Supreme Counselor Jem Baxa, a towering figure with translucent skin, through which her pulsing neural matrix was visibly aglow in erratic, flickering patterns, clear signs of stress. Her amplified voice rang through the chamber. "Reports from 17 outposts have confirmed it. Human ships have been detected approaching Council space from multiple vectors." She paused to steady herself before adding, "They are moving at speeds that defy the known laws of space-time." Gasps, growls, and ripples of alarm erupted throughout the chamber. Some species emitted clouds of pheromones, others flared their bioluminescence or hissed psychically. "Order!" Baxa snapped, slamming her ceremonial staff against the floor, sending a pulse through the chamber's gravity field. "We will not meet this with panic. We will meet it with clarity." From his place on the lower tier, Captain Vornitalik sat quietly, his scales now a turbulent swirl of colors. Since his encounter with the human probe, he had been summoned back to Nexus Prime for testimony. And now, 30 Earth days later, exactly as promised, humanity was arriving. A Trian delegate, its angular carapace twitching with unease, rose first. "We must mobilize the defense fleet. These humans have violated every protocol. They sent no ambassador, filed no petition. This is an invasion masked as diplomacy." Ambassador Pelna, a gaseous being in a shimmering containment field, floated upward in counterpoint. "And do what exactly? Engage a species that arrived here from 2,000 light-years away in 30 Earth days? A species that effortlessly bypassed our top-level encryption?" "Enough," Baxa said sharply. "This is not the time for bravado or fear-mongering. The humans have demonstrated capability, yes, but intent? That remains to be seen." Captain Vorna stood. The chamber hushed. "Supreme Counselor, if I may," he said. She nodded. Vorna stepped into the center of the floor. Every eye, biological, mechanical, and psychic, fixed on him. "I have encountered the humans directly," he began, "and while their method of introduction was unconventional, their message was clear. They are not seeking dominance. They are seeking recognition." A Kovian representative, her chrome-like skin gleaming coldly, rose in challenge. "You would have us trust a species whose entire history glorifies violence? A species that built weapons capable of destroying their own planet before ever leaving it?" Vorna nodded solemnly. "Yes, their history is full of conflict, but so is ours, so is yours. Their message wasn't a threat, it was a boundary, one they are asking us not to cross." He hesitated, then added, "And they are not asking to join us. They are telling us they already have." Before anyone could respond, the chamber's comm systems lit up with an unauthorized override. Without warning, the central holographic projector activated, throwing a real-time image into the space above them. A section of stars outside Nexus Prime, and the approaching fleet. Gasps rippled through the council. 7 small ships and 1 larger central vessel appeared in tight formation. Nothing like the brutalist warships of Council design. These were elegant, almost artistic, glowing with subtle energy signatures. Not aggressive, but not shy either. "Incoming transmission," the chamber's system announced, though its voice now sounded eerily human. "Put it through," Baxa said, straightening her posture. A figure materialized in the projection. Human, male, deep brown skin, short silver hair, uniform in shades of navy with silver trim, calm, controlled, unshaken. "I am Admiral Marcus Jordan, United Earth Diplomatic Corps," he said, his voice warm but firm. "On behalf of humanity, thank you for receiving our delegation." Baxa stepped forward. "Admiral Jordan, I must point out that your arrival violates several core protocols regarding contact with pre-integrated species." "We're aware," he said, nodding politely. "We also know that under those protocols, you would have kept us under observation for another 100 years. We found that timeline unacceptable." The Trian rose again, trembling with rage. "You decided it was unacceptable? The Council's procedures exist to maintain order. We have kept peace across the stars for millennia through careful vetting." Jordan looked toward the delegate with an expression that bordered on amused. And you've done well, but humanity's development didn't follow your models. We aren't anomalies, we're inevitabilities. The Covian delegate's voice dripped with contempt. And if we deny you recognition? Forcing our way in isn't our goal, Jordan said, tone cooling. But make no mistake, we're here. Whether or not we're seated at your table, we're in the room. Silence. I understand your discomfort, he added. No species has entered this chamber with technology you don't understand. But ask yourselves this. What have we done with that power? Vorna, feeling the weight of the moment, stepped forward once more. If I may, Admiral, your probe, your avatar, Dr. Kelly, she spoke of peace. But your message has sparked fear. Was that intentional? Jordan's eyes met his. No, but it was expected. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty. Our intention was transparency. Our hope is partnership. A soft chime interrupted the conversation, then impossibly, a golden ring of light formed at the center of the chamber floor, 3 meters wide. It shimmered, stabilized, and then 5 human figures stepped through it as if walking through a doorway made of starlight. Chaos. Guards raised weapons. Delegates gasped, some fainted. Others began screaming in psychic frequencies that nearly overloaded the comms. The lead figure, a tall auburn-haired woman in a diplomatic uniform, raised her hands peacefully. Please, there's no cause for alarm. This is our standard transport protocol. Impossible, muttered the chief technician, scanning wildly. They're transmitting matter across space with no receiving array. That's beyond our theoretical framework. The woman offered a diplomatic smile. You'll catch up. She turned toward the hologram of Admiral Jordan, still active overhead. With your permission, Admiral? Proceed, Ambassador. The hologram vanished, and the humans were now standing in the heart of galactic politics. The woman bowed gracefully. I am Ambassador Nadia Kapoor, head of Earth's diplomatic corps. We come in peace, and we come ready to speak. Baxa, after a breath, managed to gather herself. Your arrival is irregular, but not unwelcome. If you would join me, we will convene the diplomatic committee. As the 5 human envoys were led away, Vorna found himself approached by one of them. A young male with a kind, inquisitive face and mixed ancestry. Captain Talix, the human said, offering a hand. Dr. Elias Soro, xenobiologist, I just wanted to thank you. Your fair response to our probe, it helped this moment happen. Vorna hesitated, then extended an upper limb. The human clasped it briefly. I spoke only the truth I saw, Vorna replied. Though your species continues to surprise. Soro laughed softly. That's kind of our thing, Captain. Humanity surprising everyone since 200,000 BCE. He turned to follow his delegation but paused. In all seriousness, many fear us simply because we refuse to follow expectations. Vorna studied him. Can you blame them? You've rewritten the rules. Maybe, Soro said, but if we truly meant harm, would we have come like this? Vorna watched him go, and for the first time since this began, he didn't have an answer. 6 standard weeks had passed since the humans arrived at Nexus Prime, and still, the galactic diplomatic community remained in a state of semi-controlled chaos. Captain Vorna Talix stood in the observation gallery of the newly constructed Harmony Station, a collaborative research hub orbiting a colossal, unexplored gas giant in the Vex cluster. Beside him stood Dr. Alexandra Kelly, this time in the flesh, not as the cheerful avatar that had once invaded his ship's bridge. Below them, the swirling atmosphere of the planet shimmered in amber and green bands. Vortexes the size of continents churned slowly in the depths, hiding secrets older than most council civilizations. It's breathtaking, Kelly said, her voice hushed with wonder. Your scientists and ours just confirmed 17 new composite elements in those cloud layers. Some don't behave according to any atomic model we know. Vorna nodded, his scales glowing in a thoughtful teal. And all of this discovered by a joint crew of human and council scientists. Kelly smiled, the corners of her mouth pulling into that subtle expression Vorna had come to recognize as genuine contentment. It's a start. He turned to face her. Tell me something honestly, Dr. Kelly. Was this always your plan? Force your way into the council's awareness and then offer gifts? She didn't bristle, didn't flinch, just met his eyes calmly. Not force, she said carefully. Let's call it an expedited introduction. He tilted his head. And the knowledge sharing? Your FTL breakthroughs, the molecular entanglement drives, your biological repair systems, you've distributed tech decades beyond our understanding. Why? Kelly turned back to the swirling clouds outside the window. Because hoarding knowledge slows progress, and progress is what kept us alive. That is not how most species operate, Vorna said. When they gain advantage, they protect it. Most species haven't almost destroyed themselves before reaching the stars, she replied gently. We learned, sometimes too late, that cooperation extends survival far more effectively than domination. Vorna's scales shimmered with amusement. You say that, and yet you hold back some technologies, the matter transport system, for instance, or the neural enhancement you've employed. She didn't deny it. Of course, every species keeps a few cards close. It's only prudent. Cards? Vorna repeated thoughtfully. Another of your metaphors? A game of chance and strategy. You play your strongest cards when the time is right, not all at once. They stood in companionable silence as a research vessel, half human design, half council, dipped into the upper layers of the gas giant, collecting samples with near precision. Vorna's voice dropped low. You know what the council elders fear most about you? Kelly glanced at him but said nothing. It isn't your technology, he said. It's the change you represent. The idea that the hierarchy, the rules, the order we've preserved for millennia might no longer apply. She considered that. And they're right to be afraid, because we're not just bringing new tools, we're bringing a new perspective. He turned to her. You think that's a good thing? I think it's inevitable, she said. Your protocols were designed for a galaxy that moved at a crawl, for species that took centuries to breach each layer of advancement. But some of us didn't take centuries. Some of us ran. And now that we're here, we refuse to wait at the door. Orna studied her in silence. You inspire both admiration and discomfort, Doctor, she chuckled. We get that a lot. Moments passed. A hybrid engine hummed by in the distance, glowing with the blue-gold hue that had come to represent the union of two civilizations. Do you know what I find most astonishing about your species? Vorna asked. Kelly turned to him. Tell me. It's not your speed or your curiosity or even your resilience. It's your optimism, your unrelenting belief that things can always improve, that every boundary can be pushed, every obstacle overcome. Kelly's expression grew wistful. We didn't always believe that. There were times we thought the universe was indifferent, that nothing we did mattered, but we endured. And every time we rebuilt ourselves, we rebuilt better. She met his eyes. That's our gift to you. Not the ships, not the propulsion drives, not the probes or portals or neural implants. It's the journey, the belief that evolution doesn't stop, biologically or socially. Just then, the Harmony's intercom buzzed softly. Captain Talix, a crew member, said, "Council transmission incoming. Nexus Prime requests a summit. Immediate presence required." Kelly nodded. "I'll accompany you, if that's permitted." "It is more than permitted," Vorna said quietly. "You've earned your seat." They stepped together into the transit chamber. As the system powered up, Kelly glanced sideways. "You know," she said, "there's an old Earth saying I've been thinking about lately." "Oh?" Vorna asked. "The most dangerous creature," she said, "isn't the one that roars before it strikes. It's the one that smiles." The transporter flared around them, and Vorna felt the chill of understanding ripple down his neural pathways. Yes, he thought. The Council had been afraid of a predator with teeth. Instead, they'd met a species that smiled while it rewrote the rules. The Nexus Prime Summit chamber had never been this crowded. Delegates from every known member species, nearly 600 representatives in total, had gathered in concentric tiers under the shimmering skylight of the galactic capital. This was not a ceremonial gathering. This was a reckoning. At the center, Supreme Counselor Jem Baxa stood with her bioluminescent neural system glowing a constant, unreadable white, a color reserved for when even her kind had no consensus between caution and awe. Before her, seated not as observers but as equals, were the 5 human representatives, including Ambassador Nadia Kapoor and Admiral Marcus Jordan. Their presence alone broke protocol. Their calm confidence shattered it. "We are here," Baxa began, "to finalize the Council's response to Earth's petition for recognition and full integration." "Petition?" Ambassador Kapoor said with a diplomatic smile, "is an interesting choice of word." "You disagree?" Baxa asked. "I would suggest it's more of a declaration," she replied. "Respectfully, we are not here to ask. We are here to inform you that Earth has joined the galactic community. We only seek your formal acknowledgement of a reality that has already unfolded." The chamber stirred uncomfortably. "Arrogance," the Trion delegate muttered from his seat, "is no foundation for alliance." "Neither is fear," Admiral Jordan replied smoothly. "Yet we have been studied, surveilled, abducted, experimented on without consent. And still, here we stand, offering friendship." "You have circumvented every protocol," the Covian delegate snapped. "You appeared without invitation, without observance of hierarchy." "You're absolutely right," Jordan said, not missing a beat. "Because hierarchy without merit is just stagnation." He let the silence settle before adding, "And stagnation is a luxury we believe the universe no longer affords." Baxa raised a hand. "Let us not descend into accusation. The question before us is simple. Is humanity's presence a threat or an opportunity?" All eyes turned to Captain Vorna Talix. He stood slowly, deliberately. "I once believed that our procedures protected us," he said, voice echoing across the chamber. "That order was more important than momentum. That structure mattered more than adaptation." He gestured to the humans. And then a golden probe arrived. It didn't demand. It didn't beg, it announced. And it brought gifts we couldn't have imagined, not just in technology, but in perspective. He looked to Baxa, then out across the chamber. "I support humanity's full recognition. Not because they followed our rules, but because they reminded us why the rules existed in the first place. To protect, not to exclude. To uplift, not to delay. They haven't come to dominate. They've come to contribute, and they've already begun." Murmurs rolled through the room, some surprised, others swayed. Ambassador Kapoor rose, her voice soft but unwavering. "We will abide by your decision. But know this, humanity will continue forward regardless. We are not conquerors, we are connectors, explorers, problem solvers, and when we find the door locked, we knock. But if no one answers, we build our own entrance. Suddenly, a side chamber wall shimmered, an unexpected breach. But it wasn't a security alert. It was a broadcast. Live images flickered into the air. Joint Human Council science teams analyzing storm particles on Harmony Station. New colonies on the fringe of uncharted space, housing blended crews. Research databases now shared openly between species that had never trusted one another. These weren't projections. They were reality. "Counselor," Kapoor said, eyes steady, "we've already begun building bridges. All we're asking now is to meet you on the other side." The vote commenced. One by one, the delegates' seals were activated. Symbols appeared above their stations: green for approval, red for rejection, blue for abstention. The tally was not unanimous, but it was overwhelming. Humanity was granted full recognition. Baxa let out a visible pulse of light, relief perhaps, or simply resolution. "Then it is done," she said. "Earth is now a formal member of the Galactic Council. You will be seated immediately. Ambassador Kapoor, Admiral Jordan, welcome." The chamber exploded in a wave of competing reactions, celebratory pulses, reverent nods, cautious murmurs. Not everyone approved, but all now acknowledged humanity had arrived. Later, on the balcony overlooking the diplomatic plaza, Vorna stood with Kelly once again. "You've shaken the galaxy to its core," he said. "Good," she replied. "Sometimes shaking is how you wake something up." Vorna chuckled. "And now?" "Now," she said, "we learn. Together. We push the boundaries of physics, biology, diplomacy, and we do it side by side. Your people helped us understand we weren't alone. We'll help you understand what being together can truly mean." He looked out at the skyline of Nexus Prime, now punctuated with unfamiliar human silhouettes. "You may not have come in peace," he said, "but you came with purpose, and purpose can be far more powerful." Kelly nodded. "We never wanted to be feared, Captain. We just stopped waiting to be invited." They stood in silence, the stars glinting above them. Somewhere far off, the Prometheus floated in orbit, its engines quiet, but its message clear. Humanity was no longer the subject of observation. They were the ones now being watched.